Thank you. Hi, Nick. I'm Wilma Hernandez with Diario Las Américas. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, happy to speak with you. Thank you, Wilma.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about this movie, this horror comedy, Renfield, and your role in it. It's such an iconic character.
Well, this is a new take on the relationship between Renfield and Dracula. This takes place in modern day New Orleans. And although it is funny and it is a mashup between horror and comedy with some really spectacular fight sequences thrown in, it deals with the subject matter that's actually on people's minds, which is the toxic relationship between bosses and employees, or even at home with boyfriends and girlfriends, whoever, where things turn bad. And even though Renfield and Dracula probably had a kind of roguish fun for the first 100 years, the relationship has turned bad, gone sour, and that's where we're at. Renfield wants out, and Dracula won't let him out, and that's really the setup.
Okay, so for what I was reading in the production notes, this character brings you memories from your childhood. Can you share some of those memories?
Well, my father is the biggest influence for this Dracula. The way he spoke, he always spoke with distinction. He was always the smartest man of any room he walked in. He knew, and he made sure we knew it. He was a professor of comparative literature, and I think that Dracula speaks with distinction. So I used his kind of, my father, August Coppola's mid-Atlantic accent. You know, my dad was always playing these old movies. I remember even from the early age of 5 watching Max Schreck's performance as Nosferatu. And at that age, I didn't know if this was a bad dream or what it was, but it definitely had an influence on me. And I think even that kind of informs some of the body language in this movie. You know, little things like little hand gestures, things like that.
Right, right. So how would you say your father inspired you beyond this character overall in your life?
Well, I think he kept the student's mind alive in me, that I was always trying to learn something, and my uncle too wanted me to learn things. You know, it was a matter of always wanting to evolve, to try to progress, that not to regress. I think that attitude stayed with me.
That's great. You were born into a family of filmmakers, so this is in your DNA. Did you ever think maybe throughout your career, or maybe at the beginning of your career, that perhaps you were doing this because you were supposed to, because it was expected of you? Or do you feel that maybe if you would have been born into a family of filmmakers, maybe you would have chosen to do something else?
Conversely, my father, I think, preferred that I become a writer. I don't think he wanted me to be an actor. And I did have plans if this didn't work out for me. No, I didn't feel any pressure or desire to enter the filmmaking side of my family as a result of being born into a filmmaking family. It's genuinely because I loved movies from a very early age and wanted to be an actor. But if it didn't work, I also liked writing stories, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try one more time and go out on an audition. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to get on a boat, whether it be a fishing boat or be a merchant marine, and I'm going to start writing stories to try to I love the ocean. I like the idea of writing at sea. Yeah, so that was the plan. If I wasn't going to make it as an actor, I was going to get on a boat and write.
But you certainly did. So what would you say was a defining moment in your career, and how would you define success?
I think success is something that happens when you get close or actually hit the mark in the truest proximity to what you imagined in a work of art or in a performance. And that doesn't happen very often, where you hit the mark. And I think Pig, and I think that movie I made, Pig, was one of the only times I really felt that I'd entered the room in terms of hitting the mark of what I imagined in my mind and what I wanted to convey in the performance. To me, that was successful. And then finding a, not, wanting to make sure and getting as close as you can to achieving a kind of okayness, or what's the right word? I mean, kind of a resolve to everyone in my family that I love, being okay with who they are. And you only can do so much with that, because as well as, to me, a way to quantify success as a father.
Being a good dad is also successful for you.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, and being a good dad is to try to guide, but not necessarily make demands, and just like, you can guide if asked,
Right.
but, and to be okay with that.